with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the garage, where today we have the Streetfighter V4 S up on the lift for a new exhaust again. Hopefully this one works, and hopefully I'm not disappointed with this one. Now, we do have the Aero exhaust back on it. We just came off the track at Buttonwillow about a week ago. And God, I just love the way this thing sounds. So I'm hoping for the best on this new one. Now, a lot of you guys have asked why I'm getting rid of the Aero exhaust. And the one reason and one reason only. The thing is a flamethrower out of this exhaust. And well, I got a big foot and I have burned through boots like crazy. I'm on my third set of boots and I just can't afford another $500 set of boots, and that's in 1 year. So I unfortunately am ditching the Aero exhaust, and today we announced finally huge thank you and special thank you to Manny over at Moto Millions for helping me get this exhaust. He had one in stock. And it's the Termignoni black titanium, like most of you guys have been asking for. So it seems to be a very common trend for people to be going from the Aero exhaust over to the Termignoni. And you can see I've got the one dB killer removed, so you can kind of see in here the difference in the dB killers. It's actually quite a bit. So we've got two outlets on this side, and then this is the other side. This is the left side of the bike, if you're sitting on the bike. Yeah, so the boot is basically the main culprit of why I'm getting rid of this. You can actually see rubber boot in here. It's just, this thing is so flippin' hot when I'm going down the straights. So we have a dB level mic over there. We're gonna go ahead and start this bike up, and we're gonna get an idle reading. We're not gonna be doing any reps or anything like that. Remember, I have to run this bike, so we're gonna look at the dBs at idle. This mic is at the tail, 6 feet behind the bike. So it looks like we're running just under. We don't want this to get too hot because we gotta change it. It looks like we're running just under 100 dBs. So we're gonna keep that there. I'm gonna turn it off, but I'm gonna keep it in the same exact position. And let's get the chesty cam on and walk you guys through the removal of the Aero exhaust, which is fairly easy. It's gonna take me about 5 minutes to remove this, and the install of the new exhaust. Now, if you guys are going from one exhaust manufacturer to another exhaust manufacturer, this is gonna be a very easy install. If you guys are going from stock to this exhaust, I encourage you to watch the video up above and watch the removal of the stock exhaust. Now, the video up above is installing an Aero on the Streetfighter, excuse me, a Panigale V4 S. It's the same thing, but in that video, I knew better for the removal of this side of the exhaust for the stock. So watch that video if you guys are going from stock, but let's go ahead and get this thing removed and install the new one. Check it out and stay tuned, because we're gonna be out on a ride this weekend, out on the streets finally with the Streetfighter and the Panigale V2. So stay tuned, but let's get to work. All right, so we have everything unpacked from the 3 packages and the carbon fiber bits. Gloss carbon fiber again. At least one's not matte and one's not gloss, so that's good. A couple brackets, so we're going to talk about the brackets. We've got one bracket that's going to go on this side. We have one bracket that goes on the other side. You're going to have all of your basically hanger gaskets and stuff, bolts. I like to separate everything out into, you know, spots. Your springs, and they do include a spring puller and a zip tie. Over to the exhaust, this is our right side, so this is this side here, and you can see that we've already removed one of the DB killers. Unfortunately, we are not going to be running these with DB killers. I know some of you guys are going to be disappointed and you want to hear it with the DB killers. Unfortunately, these are kind of in a weird position to get these DB killers out. So I am removing the DB killers prior. This is the DB killer, and you can see in there the difference between the DB killer and the non-DB killer. And then over to this side, here is again, same thing. We're gonna be removing these DB killers and getting it all sorted up. And the only thing, I wish Termignoni wouldn't have done this, but they put this little blue wrapper over there, and of course they riveted over it, so there's all these little blue wrapper flakes. Hopefully they'll go away, but this is supposed to be like this. This is actually blued titanium, so it is supposed to be like this. So just FYI. But let's go ahead and time lapse forward. We're gonna be going and removing this. Pretty simple removal of this. A couple different bolts for the mountings, couple springs, and this is gonna come off in about 5 minutes. All right, so about 10 minutes. There looks like there's about 3 or 4, 5 millimeter and 6 millimeters. So I've got the extensions here. And one of the ones that you do have to remove is this one, which is fine. That should be removed because you are going to be installing this bracket in there, just like so. So we'll get ready for that one. And then over to this side, this bracket, I believe it's this bracket, is going to be coming and going into here. And this is a new bracket, so we are going to be having to take these bolts off to slide that bracket in. So go ahead and put that one over there. And so we're going to go ahead and start with those 2 brackets, and then start working on the brackets that are going to need to go on the exhaust, and then start getting it hung. All right, so the brake side, you're going to be installing this little bracket. Now the bracket you can see is bent kind of backwards. So this is going to slide into here, just into the regular stock area. And then you're gonna retain the 2 stock bolts right back into there, and then get them nice and torqued up. All right, so now we've got that bracket in here. You can see it's bent towards the back. So now let's go ahead and take our 6 millimeter, and we're going to be heading over to this side where we're going to remove these 2 bolts, 1 and 2, and slide in this bracket like this. All right, so now we're actually on the clutch shifting side, and it looks like you're gonna have to use, this is not defined also in the instructions very well. So it looks like these 2 clip on here because you've got 2 extras. And then this is going to be the mounting for this bracket with these 2 bolts. So what we're gonna have to do is go ahead and get these spread enough to get on this thicker exhaust bracket here. So once you've got those inserted on, we're gonna go ahead and take our bracket, and it's going to go up into the back, okay? And our 2, looks like 4 millimeters are going to go into here. And I'm gonna just hand tight them now. It's tight, but we're just gonna hand tight them now. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our other set, one more set of the exhaust gaskets. So we're gonna grab one of these, 1 washer, 1 spacer, 1 bolt. And we're gonna go ahead and take this over to the other side. Now that we read forward into the directions of what this bracket is for, this bracket's actually to bolt to your chain guard, which unfortunately, I don't have it anymore. So if you guys are coming off an aero exhaust, you guys probably removed your chain guard, which is that lower chain guard. We've removed it. So this is not going to be something that you guys will need to install, because which I'm bummed about. I scratched that up. But we're gonna be hanging this straight to the side here. And of course, this one is going to mount in between the 2, and then this is gonna go up in the header. So if you guys have the chain guard, you're gonna use this. That's the underneath chain guard. If you don't have the underneath chain guard, you are not going to be using this. All right, so now we're on to the other side. And again, we've removed the DB killers, and we're gonna get this mounted up. Now this is again the bracket. We didn't need this bracket. This is for the under chain guard, which we don't have, okay? Now, one of the things I do want to point out real quick, hopefully you guys can see over there, that other side, I've loosened that exhaust because the collector goes up and this piece here is kind of in the way. So I kind of loosened it to be able to push it to get this into the collector, which then you're going to be using some of your rubber washers and bolts. So we're gonna go ahead and get that ready here. So we're gonna click that, click that. This goes back behind. So we're gonna be now ready to mount it into here. Now we've got another one that's going to mount into this one, which we can put together here in a second, okay? But we wanna get this collector in. So go ahead and get the collector into the up pipe. Go ahead and push this out a little bit and get this ready to be able to put that bolt in there just to secure it enough. All right, so now we have all the bolts on. Everything is nice and tight. Before we put the carbon fiber guards on here, we're gonna take some alcohol and make sure you clean your whole system, inside, outside, upside down. Now, super bummed about that. I wish I would have known. Now you guys know I've sacrificed for you. Don't put that on if you guys don't have that rest. And I wish that would have been black. It was silver, but I wish it would have been black. I'm also a little bit concerned about the paint quality of this black. It scratches kind of fairly easy. We're going to be pelted down here like the Aero exhaust, but up here really disappointed. But anyways, let's go ahead and get some alcohol in this rag, and let's go ahead and wipe all of our grubby little fingerprints off of the exhaust, the muffler, all the way around, all on your titanium pipes. These are titanium, so they are going to be bluing. Your fingerprints cause the bluing to blue at a different heat rate. So you just want to make sure you're taking a good amount of alcohol and just wiping the whole system down and making sure we don't have any inconsistencies in the bluing. All right, last but not least, we're going to install the carbon fiber shields. Everything is tight, everything is clean. Try not to touch the exhaust. So you're gonna see these, this one mounts on this side here. So very nice, it kind of completes that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take two of these metal clips. We're gonna slide the metal clips into here and center those up. And then one down here. And you've got a little metal kind of barbed spacer here and a little cork one. I'm assuming they're gonna go like this, and I'm assuming this will go like this into here. So why we're putting the cork next to the carbon fiber is we wanna make sure that it's spaced correctly. So let's go ahead and thread that in. We also wanna make sure that it doesn't create any damage. All right, once they're mounted, you're gonna go ahead and snug those up. Don't go too tight because we don't wanna crack the carbon fiber. Get those nice and snug. And the fit is good. I wish the fit was a little bit better. It looks like there's a little bit of gapping here. I'm gonna play with this and see if I can get this fitment just a little bit better. All right, so for this side, I played around with it a little, couple times. I switched these back and forth to kind of try to figure out if I can get this to mesh a little bit better, and I can't. It's kind of the hard part with carbon fiber meeting metal and you know, two different manufacturers. They are designed together, but sometimes they just don't fit perfectly. I mean, it's probably something you won't notice unless you get up to it, but it's like flush up here, and then it indents in, and then it becomes flush down there. So go ahead and give that a wipe down, and let's head over to the other side. All right, so on this side, you've got the heat shield with the upper and lower mount, and then they give you this little rubber butt, and the little rubber butt gets pushed right in there, and that's going to keep that thing from slapping on there. We'll go ahead and take two of our little spacers here with the bolts. I guess they're not spacers, I guess they're mounting screw holder thingy majiggies. So go ahead and both of those in there. And then of course, then we've got our screw through there. I'm thinking it goes like that and then like this. So we've got it nice, and go ahead and get this one started. And then grab our other one. So we're gonna go screw there, and on the bottom. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just finish tightening these up here. And that looks good. Yeah, once we still got a little gap here, but nothing major. Kickstand goes up, very nice. So very nice and clean. Now, I will be honest, I'm concerned about this pipe being as low as it is. One of the issues that I did have with this side on the Aero exhaust is that it was so low, and I'm a little bit of a weighty person, that I did scrape. So I am probably gonna go ahead and be taking Robert's advice and getting this thing resprung at some point here soon. But we have a couple track days, and usually there's not many crazy bumps on the track. So we're heading out to Chuckwalla, then we're heading to Button Willow and Thunder Hill. So we're really gonna be able to get a good verbal out of this, but definitely looks pretty cool, but I wish a little bit tighter up. I think this gap is just a little bit big. Just a little bit. But let's go ahead and clean up and get this thing started. All right, well, there we have it. The double shotgun Termignoni black titanium on the Streetfighter V4 S. This side looks amazing. Now you can see the foot isn't going to be affected by the exhaust, so that's going to be good. Fitment wise on the can to the carbon fiber is a little bit off here. And then the blue sticker thing, that was a whole fiasco. There's still a little bit on there. But if you guys are questioning, this is supposed to be blue. I know when Jarrett Campisi put his on his SP, they weren't sure if those were supposed to be coming off. They are designed to be blued for the titanium. Now, my concern is this side. This side is my concern on how low this exhaust sits. So you can see there's not much room down there. I'm not sure how much different it is from the Aero, but definitely would have been nice if they could have trimmed this up a little bit and brought this up just a teeny bit. But you see a little bit of fitment over there on the carbon fiber. But outside of that, looks super, super killer. But I know why you guys are here. You guys have probably skipped ahead. You could care less about my install here, but if you guys are here for the sound clip on the Termignoni, stay tuned because we're gonna be out on the street and out on the track in the next few days. So you're actually seeing this today. Today is today. This is today. I'm heading in to edit it right now. Without further ado, our first start on the Termignoni. Now this still has the Aero map on it, and I am going to be installing the up-map Termignoni system, but wow! I'm actually a little surprised. I thought it was going to be toned down a little bit more. So let's go ahead and look at our dB killer, our dB meter. So about 9 decibels. Oh, so it is definitely quieter than the Aero exhaust. If you guys are wondering about that, That one too hard when it's cold. Definitely a nice, good idle. It definitely doesn't sound stock. You wrap on it a little bit, sounds good. So the Aero exhaust is kind of ear piercing. And it was very loud on the street. So we're gonna get this thing out on the street this weekend. So stay tuned, do the normal, hit the subscribe button, smash that like button, and then ring the bell notification. The bell notification is gonna give you future notifications of when we're out on track. Remember, we have Chuckwalla next week. We have Button Willow the week after. 4 days after that, we have Thunder Hill East. So we are on the track this next few weeks, and then we have a unfortunate surprise. I'll be heading under the knife in mid-October, so we're gonna have a little bit of break in riding, but I'm gonna try to get my riding in a lot. So thank you guys for sticking around for the install of the Termignoni exhaust. And again, I am going to be doing the up-map Termignoni map on this, so I'm gonna do it without the dB killers. But thank you guys again, and we'll see you next video. Bye guys.